These are young, unaccompanied refugee children.
It is so dangerous. Some of this group is missing because they've been killed.
There was a young Afghan boy called Masood. He fell off the lorry and died.
It's a shocking experience still to see these people without any hope.
The conditions are intolerable for children to be on their own. We shouldn't, as a civilized continent, allow this to go on for one day longer. Well, I'm Alf, you are?
A handshake across the years. Separated by decades but connected by history.
I'm Harry. I'm Harry.
The moment that two elderly men, once child refugees in Europe, met a new generation in peril.
The Nazis came to Holland in the Second World War. I again was rescued and came to England as a refugee. And like you, I was unaccompanied, and like you, and I never saw my parents again. But I hope you will see some of your family again.
Let me introduce you to some of the team who...
Labour peer Alf Dubbs and Rabbi Harry Jacobi have come to the jungle, the migrant camp at Calais.
Harry Jacobi, I've heard all about you. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
The slum-like settlement on the English Channel is home to 400 children who are there without family. More than 70 years ago, Harry and Alf made their own solo journey to safety.
200 boys and girls wave a greeting to England, land of the free. They are between the ages of 5 and 17, the advance guard of the first 5,000 Jewish and non-Aryan child refugees from Germany.
As World War loomed, the British government saved 10,000 children from the Nazis. The Kindertransport gave safe passage to Jewish children from all over Europe, bringing them to our shores by the boatload.
My mother at some point was refused permission to leave. She got me onto a Kindertransport. I can still see her standing at Prague Station, German soldiers with swastikas. I was 6, I was one of the youngest. When we got to the Dutch border and crossed into Holland, the older ones cheered. I knew it was significant, but I didn't know why.
Harry left his parents in Berlin and made it to Holland, only for the Nazis to invade in 1940.
And a non-Jewish woman took us by coaches to the Dutch port of IJmuiden and persuaded a cargo boat captain to take us away. So 5 days later, after leaving Holland, we arrived in Liverpool, and I have a picture here from the Liverpool paper.
That's the picture.
To show you how we arrived in Liverpool on the 19th of May 1940.
So what's this got to do with Calais? Early this month, Lord Dubbs led a successful campaign to force the government to welcome in more lone children seeking asylum in Europe. It's thought there are almost 90,000 unaccompanied kids across the EU. In Calais, there are more than 400. The charity Citizens UK says 157 of them have a legal claim to come to Britain because they already have a relative waiting for them. Harry and Alf met 2 of the boys from Afghanistan who wanted to remain anonymous.
Well, I'm a refugee, and I came to England at the age of 6.
With the help of a translator, the boys aged 10 and 12 explained what they'd been through.
He's complaining that it's been 8 months now, and he's very upset that no one's bothered or asked us how we are or if we're okay or whatever. We're little children.
Yes, you are. Well, that's why we're here, to ask you how you are.
He's very sad.
To ask you how you are. Have you any family in Afghanistan?
They said they now had little contact with relatives who'd paid smugglers to bring them to Europe. One of them told the visitors what happened to his dad.
So the Taliban killed his father. The bomb. Yeah. Taliban.
They made it to France in car boots, the back of lorries, and by walking over mountains. Scared of older men, scared of French police and tear gas, the boys said they would keep trying to get onto lorries bound for England.
It is so dangerous. Here, right here, we've had a couple of children killed by moving traffic when attempting to get in lorries. We try to encourage people to claim asylum in France because it is too dangerous to attempt the crossing. None of these children are willing to make this choice. They're too young, and they have been told by family at home to go to the UK.
Nobody denies that the jungle is a dangerous place, and the government has agreed to do more. Ministers insist they're working as quickly and as safely as possible in the best interests of the children, but campaigners say it's not fast enough.
The legal process is too slow. There is not enough happening, and it's not happening fast enough, and that leaves children, because they're so young and because they're so alone, with no option but to take their lives into their own hands.
But is this really the UK's problem? Critics say taking children from here just encourages more people smuggling, and local authorities can't afford to pay for the huge costs of housing and educating these kids.
I'm far more determined than ever to push the British government to say, look, these are young, unaccompanied refugee children here. And in 1938-39, Britain took 10,000 unaccompanied child refugees from Germany, Austria and Czechoslovakia. It wasn't our problem then, but we did it. We were the only European country to do it. Even the Americans, for their part, said no. I think in humanitarian terms, we have a responsibility to other human beings who are vulnerable.
Seeing is believing. I couldn't believe. It's a shocking experience still to see these people without any hope. And I feel so furious, not only with England, but what I have heard in the camp here, that France also didn't care very much, didn't do anything for them. So I am a pro-European, but I'm very much ashamed of the whole of Europe, that not doing enough for the refugees here.
The Kindertransport isn't just a tale of how 10,000 children cheated the Nazis. It was about how a nation responded to one of the great moral questions of its time. Well, 70 years on, the veterans say that the fate of thousands more children now hangs in the balance. Now, the circumstances are completely different, but they say the question is the same. Are we prepared to do today what we did in the past?
As the former refugees prepared to leave, the children had a message for them to take home.
If you can tell the people of the England government that imagine if these were your kids, he goes, everyone has some form of trouble and we were forced out. So just think about your children. If they were in our position, how would you feel?
I am more determined than ever, and you also will be more determined than ever to do our best to help you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for your time, and look, good luck, and we'll do our best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.